It's your boy, D. Clems, a.k.a. Ginger Stash, a.k.a. Clem Eastwood, a.k.a. Reno 518, coming at y'all with the sweet Movember mustache. Trying to raise a little cashola for my boys suffering with the testicular and the prostate cancers, which I've noted that the only person this league has donated any money to is roommate Sharp. The rest of y'all are being niggardly about it, which is not a racial term. It's actually based on the word niggling, and it means to be cheap or stingy. So easy before you start calling PR, all right, or HR. Either one, public relations and human relations. It's not going to help me if I'm labeled as a racist. The fact is, I just have a fantastic vocabulary. So a lot of you are probably wondering what the hell has been going on with videos lately. Well, 2 weeks in a row, our boy Z has dropped the ball, much like my Pittsburgh Steelers. 8 turnovers this week, 5 of which came from running backs. We had 4 different running backs dressed. All 4 fumbled and lost the fumble. It wasn't a good day to be a Steelers. And it's to the fucking Browns, but it's unimportant. That's real football. We have some fantasy bullshit to deal with today. We have a lot of catching up to do, so let's just jump right into it. You hear me? We got your Week 10 roundup, bitches. Alright, so Week 10 was the final week of the regular season. A lot of shit on the line. But let's start off with the Irrelevant Bowl. There's the 2 guys already locked in the playoffs with the 1 and 2 seeds, Sharp and Tom. The only thing that was really on the line is that Tom was still fighting to hold on to a 9-1 record and match Shechten's record from last year of the best regular season record ever in the history of the league. Sharp, however, undid that, beat Tom 96-89. Sharp had Joe Flacco in instead of Aaron Rodgers, scored 33 points. Again, I hate that fucking lumber-toothed asshole, but he's become good. That he has, unfortunately. Tom also, I think, had an eye on the playoffs, was resting some major players, didn't ask a fantasy load from Arian Foster, kind of got to kick his feet back, and so far has produced quite well, if I do say so myself, for the playoffs ahead. Then we had the big battle for the 4th and final entry to the playoffs. First game up, me and Anthony. I needed to win. If I lost, I was in trouble. And so it was Ant and I, 95-99, me. I win. Tough day, though, for my running backs. 3 points from Matt Forte and 5 points from the law firm Ben Jarvis Green Ellis. Ant, though, had almost a worse day with running backs. Had 0 points from Reggae Bush. And somehow I was able to squeak out the win. So I was in. I was good to go. I was looking forward to finally coming to the playoffs, but instead I'm here making another fucking video because apparently that's the only thing I'm good at in fantasy. Not actually playing the game, just being an asshole in front of the camera. Everybody has their cross to bear, right? So, Shechten puts up 122 points on Zach, who only puts up 70. Shechten needed to beat me by 7 points and instead beats me by 23, the Michael Jordan number, and just puts a nice little cut right in my little Tar Heel heart. It hurts so bad. 30 points from Matt Ryan, 24 from Megatron. Just a dominating performance by Sheck. I mean, I can't complain. We were close all season, and he deserves to go. So the records don't lie, the points don't lie. Congratulations, Sheck. I'm glad that you made the playoffs. I would have preferred it to be me myself, but in the giving mood, I guess, for the holiday season. Zach, though, just a complete and total dud. Singles from all of his players but 3, and 2 of those players that were in single digits put up 1 point. Insane. Shechten, I forgot to grab the beer, so I'll be right back. Much better. So, the last Bud Light of the season goes to you, Sheck. Congratulations. Then we got to the Bowl of Shame. First time this ever happened with us. that the two teams with the worst records played each other on the last week of the regular season. Brad went into it, I believe, at 2-7-1, I think, or no, that's what he finished. So he must have been 2-6-1 at the time. J-Ball went into it at 2-7. Whoever lost was going to get the medal of shame, and did you boys not disappoint? This was our best game of the week because J-Ball didn't have a kicker. Brad, you got the medal of shame, and you well deserved it this year. J-Ball puts up 100 points without a kicker, and Brad puts up 99. So fucking close, right? But it shouldn't have been. Like, even a point from the kicker, like, it would have toasted you. And so, Michael Ashore fucked you a bit. Brad only had 4 points. But J-Ball getting engaged. Salut. Anthony, that's Italian for fuck off. And avoiding the medal of shame all in a week's time. So everything's coming up J-Ball these days. Good job, buddy. And congratulations, man. Proud of you on the most deepest and honest of levels. Look forward to being a part of that shit show that will be preparing for your wedding and bachelor parties and all of that. So congratulations, man. Sorry, Shek, you kind of usurped your beer, so I'm going to name this the J-Ball Engagement Beer of the Week. Now, jumping into last week, we had the first round of the playoffs. I will start with the bullshit kitty table games that nobody cares about and doesn't affect anybody's records. I beat Justin 102-93, so I mean it. I'm proud of you for getting engaged, and I'm excited for you, but still, I win. Sorry. And then Brad beat Z 94-92. Now, Zach, I know I came down on you about dropping the ball earlier, and it's going to feel like I'm coming down on you now. I don't mean to. Yeah, fuck it. I kind of mean to. But I think it's the perfect opportunity to talk about really how awful Zach's team was this year. I know he didn't win the Medal of Shame, and I know Brad's kind of situation somehow took attention away from that, but it doesn't change the fact that Zach has been atrocious all season. And he's been playing with a strange kind of gusto as if he was going to win the entire thing, but has been well out of the picture for quite some time. I mean, he had his mathematical kind of possibility to make the playoffs, but he was bad. I mean, I researched it just because I think I was the only person talking about it, and I was only talking about it in my head, so that made me crazy. But here's the facts. Now, I know this doesn't count towards the real record, so this is kind of a shitty fact, but at this point in time, including the kiddie table playoff games, Zach has lost more games than Brad. Fact. Other fact, Zach has been swept by me and Shekton, and he went 1-4 outside of the conference. Or division, sorry. And he also has the worst loss margin ever when he lost by 87 points to J-Ball in Week 7. If you're keeping score at home, that's more than double last year's worst losing margin, which was only 42 points. These hips don't lie, nor do these stats. It's just throwing that out there. You do what you want with it, but I'm voting that I think Zach's team might have been one of the worst, if not the worst, this season. Then into the actual playoff games, though. Playoffs. I had to do it. Playoffs. Anyway, let's start with a 2-3 matchup. Ant and Shekton. Or Ant and Sharp, sorry. Ant comes home with a big win. The 12-point win, 86-74. Even though Anthony had zeros from one of his running backs and Miles Austin, he still managed to beat Sharp by 12 points, who had a really unfortunate day because, just to give you a sign of what his day was like, Sharp's second best player on average was the Texans' defense. They were averaging 10.7 points for him. That is only second to Aaron Rodgers on his team. And the Texans put up a negative 1-point game. So you just knew it just wasn't going to work out for you. And so Anthony sneaks in, makes the Big Dick Bowl for 2 years running. He is a 2-time Big Dick Bowl Caroline Street champion, Pearl Street champion, I believe, right? I don't even know. What the fuck is going on with me? It's been a long week, guys. I'm about to drown my sorrows in engagement beers. So what I was trying to say is that Anthony is in the Big Dick Bowl 2 years. You go, buddy. I'm proud of you. But the bad news is this. Tom spanked Sheckton 142 to 104, and that was by getting blanked by Vernon Davis. He had 0 points from his tight end and 3 points from his kicker, Hartley. And those were the only 2 single-digit players on his whole team. A dud from Vernon Davis and a 3-point game from his kicker. Everybody else was in the double digits, and many of them in the 20s. It was insane. Just this team is out of line. And Sheck, I mean, he kind of had a little misfortunes. 2 points from Crabtree, 6 from the Seattle defense. You expect more there. But Tom's in the Big Dick Bowl. Now, Tom pulled a classic NFC South. Ant, look it up, because I know you've been watching football for like all of 2 days. But he went from the bottom of the league to the top. Last year, Medal of Shame winner, and this year, I'm calling it. He's going to win the whole thing. He's going to win the cannoli and take it home in the Big Dick Bowl. And you can't say he doesn't deserve it. It's unreal. He's favored by 25 going into this matchup, and it's going to be an absolute blood orgy. Like, Tom's just going to fucking just fist Anthony and then pull out his small intestine and make I don't know, some Italian sausage with it. I don't know. It's going to be brutal. It's going to be really bad. And like I said, you can't say that Tom doesn't deserve it. I mean, the first thing I know, some of you are going to try to knock him, be like, oh, he wasn't even there for the draft, auto draft, whatever. And that is true. And I'm disappointed because that's 2 years running that you haven't bothered to draft your own team. But he has shown incredible skill and savvy in picking up players on the waiver wire and through trade. Just to put it in perspective, Tom has six players on his roster from his draft day. Only 6. The rest of his roster comes from trades and waiver wire. And the average in the league is 7, and that's with J-Ball's 11 players that he still has from his draft. Most people have 5 or 6 as well, and so Tom is right in there with the rest of us. He doesn't have this kind of lucky auto draft thing that happened. He just has a good team that he's built himself. Just some of the accolades he's won this year. He scored 167 points in a game. That's a league record for most points in a single game. He has scored 1,123 points this season, which is more than 44 points more than last year's league leader. So another record there. And he's also has the second best record in league history. So, I mean, you can't argue. He's been fucking dominant, and it's kind of sucked, but, well, credit where it's due and all that shit, I suppose. So that's it. I think Tom's is gonna plow right down Anthony's field, and it's gonna be ugly. But we'll be there every step of the way, laughing and mocking you, Ant. So just enjoy that. The last thing I really want to talk about, kind of bring it down another level, is this controversial rules change that I made in the middle of the season. I had one person complain to me when I gave the open forum to air their grievances about this rule change, and the one person that did complain, their big concern was that it quote unquote ruined the integrity of the league by changing the rules in mid-season, and that it implied essentially that I was being bullied by Tom, and that I was afraid that whenever Tom was angry, I had to cave and cater to Tom's needs. I think most people in the league would recognize that a lot of times I don't cave to Tom's kind of incessant complaining and gerrymandering, if you will. And I try to do things what I believe to be in the best interest of the league. And as I laid out that night when I changed the rules, I found this an opportune moment because, one, I believe Tom was genuinely correct. I don't think it makes any sense whatsoever for Brad in games that do not matter to be able to take players when Tom and Sheck and Ant and Sharp would lose out on those players. I think it takes a refresher because I think some people don't necessarily understand the waiver. But let's say I want a player, and Zach wants a player, and Tom wants a player. By all rights, Tom needs the player the most because he has playoff implications. The rest of us, we're just fucking around and jerking off in the corner. And since Zach would have the worst record out of the three of us, Zach would have priority to take that player and snipe him out from underneath Tom. And so it gives a good player to a team that doesn't matter and hurts and weakens the roster of a team that does matter. So, frankly, in my opinion, I think it improves the integrity of the league because it improves competition in the playoffs. And also, to reiterate the waiver kind of order, Tom was bottom of the playoff teams. And so this was not a rule made to help Tom. It was a rule made to actually help the likes of you playoff players that were, third, fourth, second seeds. You had a chance to get players and to get the players that you wanted so that you could compete well. And the whole argument that's in the middle of the season, I recognize that technically we have been playing, but we had a bye week. So there's 2 weeks to settle in, get used to the new rule. Also, it's the playoffs. And any sport, they always talk about the playoffs are the second season. It's the second season. It's not the same thing. It starts all over again. It was a good transition time, just like how the NFL had different overtime rules. This will then carry over into next year as well. It just makes sense, in my opinion. I'm not going to back down on it because I had very little pushback, and I think I genuinely believe it's for the best interests of the league. So, again, any comments or concerns, let me know. But let the football begin. Well, it began like 15 minutes ago, but I'm sorry. Zach kind of fucked me. I didn't have time to really do much, and it takes a lot of effort to grow all this.